All right, gentlemen and ladies and everybody else that's tuning in, Peter Joseph is here. We're going to get to the bottom of shit. We're going to get to the bottom of shit. Did you hear this fucking dummy Newt Gingrich, this would-be king, fat-headed clown? This guy actually said that he believed that the founding fathers would be much more aggressive in the way they would prosecute people for marijuana. And that they would do it probably much more violently.
They were growing it themselves?
Not only were they growing it themselves, it says in George Washington's fucking diaries that he was separating the male from the female plant. It's very clear that he says he was separating the male from the female plant. For people who don't know, when you're growing marijuana, you got to separate the male from the female plant so that the female grows the buds and that they become psychedelic. That's how you make it so you get high from it.
Right.
So George Washington is essentially saying he likes to get high.
Right.
And he said, oops, a little too late. So he's a fucking stoner. he separated them too late. I mean, what did you have to do back then? I mean, how many different things did he have going on? Right. George Washington was a fucking stoner, dude. Almost 100%.
God bless him.
For sure they grew it. And by the way, they grew hemp, and they grew hemp because they used it for a lot of things outside of the psychoactive effects. They used it for all sorts of different things, and there's all these different passages, people smoking on their hemp pipe. It's written in so many different people's diaries.
When George Washington said that, he did mean his slaves were separating it for him, right?
Probably. Did he have slaves? Did George have slaves?
Sure
he must have had slaves, right?
Of course, yeah, they all did.
Yeah, they all did, right?
It was so hot right then.
It's a different time, Brian. It's a different time. He was a good man.
Very dramatic change in the way people think about themselves and how they relate to the world. It seems inevitable to me.
How did you develop this line of thinking? Did you have some sort of a life-changing experience? Were you always like this?
I just had great influences from Carl Sagan to even George Carlin and Bill Hicks, and the comedy spectrum coupled with the scientific community was very influential with me, both from a cultural standpoint and a progressive standpoint. If there's any individual that's most influential, it would have been Carl Sagan as far as values, because he was so in line. The guy
and he smoked weed every day, son. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Carl Sagan would smoke weed and just think about space. That's what he did. He wrote some beautiful, eloquent essays on cannabis use.
Did he? I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, he was a brilliant guy.
Sagan's amazing. Yeah. So, it's a long value shift, and I went through the same stuff of anger and everything else that I think a lot of people do, and then I met even more people that fascinated me, and a lot of authors. There's so many brilliant minds out there, from Jacques Fresco to